brainstorming and sharing ideas is the funnest part of the creative process, we decided to skip the boring part of actually making stuff and just do the fun part. I'm your host, Tom Walma.
John Johnson.
Vivian Brigade.
I'm Juan Carlos.
And this is Creativity Wasted.
I always thought of this kind of children's book. I always had this starfish that was like from an aquarium, a dried starfish. And I always, like, as a kid, would say about the starfish and put it outside in the snow and that, something like that. So I thought of like a children's book that a starfish just came out of water and beats of a story of just stupid children's kids movie type beats that would make this starfish kind of, overcoming, crossing the street, just simple things like that, and how we'd wrap it up. And I thought that'd be kind of a cool idea to a bunch of smart asses to wrap their head around. So, but no, I think a lot of kids movies are just basic overcoming fear and believing in yourself. So I think having like a starfish and how a starfish would navigate, it doesn't have to be physical, because just the movement alone would take like an hour to move a foot or whatever it is. So yeah, just think of some story beats, some scenarios, some scenes of how the starfish would just navigate outside of the water just in a town.
Cool. I don't want to burst your bubble, but is there a starfish in SpongeBob?
Yes, but this is
Patrick.
yeah.
Patrick is a starfish.
Yes, that is true. I don't know if you realize this, but I am older than the existence of SpongeBob.
Wow.
I hate to burst anyone's bubble, but yeah, I see what you're saying, but I wasn't thinking so like cartoony. So it's more like just a not barely sentient being trying to cross the street or looking at something like that we just see and just staring at something for a long time to wrap their head around it, kind of thing. A starfish doesn't technically have a head, but
wrap its arm around it.
There you go.
You said earlier putting a starfish out in the snow. Did you actually do that?
Yeah, I was. Before this is like before. You take a million cell phone pictures, but the starfish and just set it out in the snow. I just thought it was a funny, just one of those things you say as a kid. Starfish in the snow. It always sounded funny to me, and it was just so ridiculous. And my act is pretty dark, so just a kid's idea would be just a kind of funny thing to wrap my head around.
Did it live?
No, this, like I said, this is a starfish that I have is an actual like dried out thing. So it was like in a bag, and there's like in a bag of shells or some gift shop from an aquarium kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, but I used to just imagine with this thing, and it's like, oh, the starfish left the water, and now it's in winter in Michigan, and it's like just as a sort of a kid's angle, trying to like wrap your head around just simple things, and I don't know.
Well, if you're really kind of like set on the idea of him crossing the road, maybe you can have a chicken help him.
Make a what?
Make a chicken help him cross the road. That's how
chicken helper.
That's why
a chicken helper. Okay.
Oh,
he was helping the starfish.
That's awesome. And the cartoon hand in the commercial, and he just. I love
finally
that.
Answer that question. What was that damn chicken doing this whole time?
Maybe the starfish just has a bunch of animal friends that carry it everywhere. Chickens and whatnot. Maybe it's like those, people who take like garden gnomes and they just carry them all around the world and they take pictures of them.
Yeah, it was a little like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it could be like that. But
the logistics of a starfish moving is like even like tipping, like flipping over takes a very long time, like 20 minutes just for a starfish to kind of like navigate itself. So I guess the logistics of it would have to be a little fictional, but yeah. Carrying it would definitely have to be. The starfish would have to be a lot more people person to convince people to help carry him or her around there. So, yeah.
So I'm a little fuzzy on what a starfish is.
Oh, so am I. So don't worry.
Is it like a shell that looks like a star and it's like a little blobby thing inside, or
No.
No, a starfish is completely formed. It almost looks like coral, but it's an actual animal that's complete. There's no like shell. That the star is the animal, and it consumes through the bottom through like a mouth kind of, and all those arms have like just tons of very little like very tiny arms, I guess you'd call them, that
little
they kind of can
spongy
move.
like things?
Yeah, and they can kind of move and scrape little algae in its like mouth or whatever you want to call it.
Do they look like little plungers?
No, it's just kind of like a millipede, like millipede legs kind of thing.
Oh, I was gonna say plunger. You could have it like climb the side of a building, like
Yeah, I
a
think it can.
daredevil.
Can stick to a wall in a aquarium. It could get bit by a radioactive spider at some point. I never considered that.
Starfish man.
Spider starfish.
Maybe if you put it on a human's head, it can like open its mouth and like suck itself onto the head and then control the human.
That's
like an
already
alien.
done.
I believe that's Suicide Squad 2 is what you're describing.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's actually, what is the name of that creature in that movie? It was
I don't know, some alien.
Starro the Conqueror.
Oh,
Did it control people, or was it just really big and it shot out a bunch of little ones? I don't remember.
Yeah, the little ones controlled everybody.
Yeah, that was exactly how it was.
Oh,
He was like this big creature, and all those little ones were like just extension of himself.
Yeah.
I guess there's
rats,
no new.
Rats beat. I learned that rats beat starfish on from that movie. So it's we have to should be wary of rats out there for this particular starfish.
A wave of rats. That was a bizarre movie.
It could be like the star of a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I like that. I'd like that. That's a really good. Might be a good ending right there. Yeah, I like where. Yeah, I never thought about that.
That could be his whole journey, like going from the sea.
It's like the Mount Everest of the starfish.
Yeah,
the
he wants to become a Christmas tree star. That's like his dream or something. Oh yeah, that would be great. I would watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like it's looks down. It was in it can like just be the star and like a bunch of Christmas specials. It just shows up and like It's a Wonderful Life is going on like below him or something like that. Or could have now I'm thinking a series here, so I've got the Christmas special worked out too now. So it just kind of shows up in all these Christmas specials, and it's in Mickey's Christmas Carol. It's like the star of that, and yeah.
That's a lot better than the ending I was thinking of, because I was thinking it would probably die the way most stars die of a drug overdose.
Oh. But if I made a TV show about a star, people wouldn't be able to see it for 25,000 years. Okay, thank you. That's all right. Yeah. Okay, I'm warmed up now. I can go on. Okay.
We got the James Webb now, sir. Get an exposure.
Holy shit.
How many legs does a starfish have?
Typically 5.
Yeah, those little arm things, like those little
I think
millipede
Jewish
arms.
ones have 6.
I think if one of their arms pops off, they can actually grow it too. If they got the 5, I think the one grows back if they kind of fall apart or whatever. So they get chopped off. Yeah.
Yeah, chopped off. Does anybody?
I don't know. Depends what part of the ocean they live in, I guess. I don't know.
Does it look like the Jewish Star of David, or
yeah, there are different starfish.
Could it like bend its leg to look like a Nazi symbol or something? Or
No, it does not.
I guess you don't want that in a children's book.
No, that doesn't happen.
But you could have David, the Jewish starfish.
Oh,
yes.
Wow, very inclusive. Yes.
And then he abandons his religion to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, to become a Christmas star because of capitalism. Yeah, real story.
or he goes to become the star on the Israeli flag.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay. My gosh,
Yes.
so many different lives for this little star.
Any other thoughts on the star? You don't have an actual plot?
Not really. Just always kind of an idea that I noodled around with, and if I got it in my head to like do a self-published children's book, I'd actually sit down and do it. But I'm probably not gonna right away. I love the Christmas angle though. That was just something I never would have thought of myself. So it's like, yeah,
There you go, man.
Cool.
yeah.
It's probably not hard to self-publish. I don't know if you guys
No, not at all.
You guys know Jimmy Cipriano, the comic?
No.
No, I don't.
He was on the podcast early, like years ago, pre-COVID, and he had an idea for a book that he called Your Friend's Baby and You. So it would be a gift to give people if you're having a kid and your buddy always wants to hang out and he's bugging you and you've got to like do family stuff. So it's like helping your friend who's childless cope with your not being able to hang out and play video games as much. And I thought, because there was a book that came out, Get the Fuck to Sleep or something. I don't know if you heard of that book.
Yeah, love that.
I thought it was sort of on those lines. You could do a book like that. And I really wanted to get Jimmy to actually do the book. I even designed a cover for it, partly to promote the podcast, but he wouldn't do it.
Ah.
I could probably convince him to do it myself if I wanted to, but I have a cousin who self-published a book making fun of a coworker. It was on Amazon.
Wow.
He did this maybe 10 years ago. And it was like all these inside jokes about a coworker, and he gave it to him for Christmas or something.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, you can do that, like self-publish just about anything for like not much money.
Yeah, you can actually do that pretty cheap if you go through Amazon, really. They have a bunch of tools in there that help you just print out a few copies only.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't think he made any money on it, but
yeah,
if you want to say like, "Oh, I'm a published author," or if I don't know, you could probably hire somebody on Fiverr to do like every page. Just come up with like a plot and hire people to draw. It's not hard to draw a starfish. I'd say go for it.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Yep. Got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be very famous to or have any real topic to publish a book. I mean, my dad actually has published like several books on a subject that no one cares to read about. It's honestly like the most boring stuff. I'm not even trying to like pick on him or anything, but anytime I'm having problems falling asleep, I pick up his book and I read a little. Works every time.
What's the topic?
Oh my God, it's like the most random thing. So it's a book about Ecuadorian doctors who were also poets. So it's about their poetry, because if you're not famous for what you're doing, obviously, let's make sure that we, talk about your hobby.
Are all the poems about like doctory stuff?
Yeah, and it's not only that, but it's a biography of them. So it's like, and the poems are terrible too. It's just like, good. That's why they were doctors. I mean, he also does other really good stuff. Like he actually does a lot of historical stuff about Ecuadorian medicine, which actually is pretty good for like people who are going to med school in Ecuador.
If you guys have any comedy shows or anything you want to promote?
Yeah, we got an open mic. I'm standing in front of Hamilton Street Pub. We do an open mic here in Saginaw on Monday nights. We also do a couple nights in Bay City, Michigan, Tuesday at O'Hare's, Thursday at South End Bar. Just open mic, show up, go up, trying to get some comedy going in the Tri-City area. So, yeah.
I have a few things. I'm going to be at the Blind Pig on Monday next week, September 19th. And I'm actually on another podcast. I'm on Carl Johnson's podcast coming out this Thursday.
Oh, I didn't know he had one.
Like podcast, yeah. And then, you can follow me on social media. My Instagram is Vivian Brigette Comedy.
This has been a production of Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast.